Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another fantastic Wednesday. And you know what we do here every single Wednesday? We come on and we host a historical research quest stream. And this week, what are we going to do? We're going to be talking about the eruption of Mount Vesuvius and the destruction of Pompeii in 79 AD. All right, it's going to be a fun stream. We're going to give a couple minutes. We're going to get done with the usual stuff, which is, of course, posting the link over to X, letting some people join us here if you happen to see the link. We're back, we're here. So don't go anywhere. Do not go anywhere. We are hanging out, we're chilling. I really hope that reconnects nice and fast. Our OBS just crashed instantaneously right as we started up the stream. So wow. Oh, that is just, that's one of those things that you're really glad if it gets caught in time. All right, we're good. We're here, we're back. We're good. Let me get this stuff back here. There we go. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. In case that minorly interrupted anybody's viewing experience, I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know what just happened. I was simply loading up the stream here. I'm actually going to turn off as much as I possibly can on this computer at the moment because the last thing we want is for a stream to start crashing and spazzing while we're talking some history. You can't exactly do a successful history lesson that way. It's been a really busy day over here, to be honest. Been working a lot on the new project we're coming out with, the USA 250 Digital Impact Network. So we'll talk a little bit about that later once we're done with the lesson. But I want to remind everyone, if you're interested in figuring out what we're working on over here, take a look at our website. It's linked on Rumble. It's linked in the description. But it's just it's a really fun project we're working on now, and I would love to get all you guys in on that. But first, let's get this done. Historical Research Quest. We are live. There we go. Get that post up. Stream is still running. Okay, we're good. We are chilling. Perfect. Oh, I haven't gone to the gym yet today, so I'm excited to go hit the gym once I finish up here. Did anybody happen to be in the chat that was in the golf stream yesterday? We had a golf stream yesterday, and it was it was interesting to say the least. It was super interesting. Let me tell you that much. We're gonna check the Rumble stream really quick, make sure we're running all good, and it looks like I have to charge my phone, so it's probably a good idea to do that too. If any of you are funneling in, come say hey. Let's chat a little bit before we get started. I really hope we can start to get a. Oops. Super interesting. Let me tell you that much. We're gonna check the Rumble stream really quick, make sure we're running all good. Awesome. All right, we're all good on the stream here. Today we have a lot more pictures than usual, to be honest. The eruption of Mount Vesuvius and the just total destruction of Pompeii is something we all learned so much about in school growing up. Like, I remember multiple history classes, like, just hearing this over and over again. And it's an incredible event, era, and just period to get refreshers on. And it's fun to talk about, potentially explore some new details that you may have not heard before. And especially when it's accompanied by imagery, it makes all that a little bit more fun. So I'm hoping to host a good stream for you guys today. It's going to be excellent. I think we're going to try to go, we started right at 6 p.m., probably aim for right around like 7 p.m., like an hour stream. You guys know, if you've been here before, I like to keep these on the shorter end. Not that we leave out too much detail. We just run through it pretty quick. We don't dwell on stuff too much because I want to give people watching the VOD later an opportunity to just not sacrifice any of the viewing experience, that's given to our live interactions. However, if anybody pops up in chat, which I implore you to do, please, I would love to talk to you. If you have any questions, I have obviously all the resources here in front of me to look anything up at any given moment. We can get more details. We can expand on certain stories on or certain elements of the focus point today. And the idea here is just we're not history. I'm not a history teacher, guys. I don't focus in history. I don't live in history. I appreciate history. I like reading about history. I like talking about history. And that's what this is for. This is more of a it's primed to sort of develop into a more of a conversational sort of thing, not a presentation. Like I'm not teaching here. All the stuff I'm saying is public knowledge. I'm basically just running through refreshers while we're sort of small on the smaller end for these streams. And if we get people who are regularly coming to the historical research quest streams, I would want to involve multiple people. I would love to have people up on the panel with me. I would love to have live discussions, not specifically focused on the content at hand, but whatever might be might involve, like anything. There are so many conversations to be had around the world of history. Now, today I decided to make myself over here on stream a little bit my webcam just went into AI mode. I hate when it does that. I made myself a little bit larger on stream, so hopefully I'm not too ugly. We got the images behind me, of course. So as needed, I'm keeping an eye on what images we're looking at and how my webcam is positioned within those frames. So I will be able to fluctuate and move my position throughout the stream. So if you're worried about not seeing any images, don't worry. I will ensure that is not the case. Um, but yeah, we've been live for 7 minutes now. We got our post up. If anybody would like to, please feel free to share the stream over on your X or any other social channel. Say what's up in the chat. I'd love to talk to you guys. And yeah, just have some fun, man. We're gonna get started here at 6:08. We're gonna get started at 6:12. We're gonna do a little obscure time today, just a totally random time. Give that stream a little 12-minute buffer and then get right into the story. I have obviously all my notes in front of me. I have the pictures set up. We are going to hope and pray that no OBS failures occur throughout the rest of the stream. Hopefully, we just got that first crash out of the way right as we fired up, and we can leave it that way. We're chilling. Not going to be watching much videos. Nothing that should overload my CPU or RAM. So, but I do have so many windows open from these pictures. Oh, let me actually make sure I have capture cursor on. Oh, I do. Okay. So you can see the cursor on stream. Amazing. Yeah, so let's just talk about yesterday's golf stream for a quick second. Let's talk about yesterday's golf stream for just a quick second, because let me tell you guys, I played the worst round of golf that I have played in recent history. Not even so recent history, like 2-3 years. And it wasn't that my shots were that bad, like whatever. I blew up on that first par 3 on the back. I had to be 6 or 7 shots in the water there, like straight up off the tee box. And then I went to my bag, I pulled out the right club, and I dotted the green, dead center of the green, first shot with the right club. We had heavy winds yesterday. It was ridiculous. And I think that was just like some power's way of telling me, like, yo, listen, it's not the 7-iron here. You want to grab the 8-iron. And I grabbed the 8-iron and we striped it right onto the middle of the green, 2-putt part after what would have been probably like a 14 or 15 score, to be honest. Maybe not that much, maybe like 10 to 14, but it was just ridiculous. It was pretty funny, I'm not gonna lie to you. Anyway, golf streams are for golf, history streams are for history. It is 6:10 p.m. We got 2 minutes. Let's do a quick X check, make sure our thumbnail's up. Oh wait, I will check the YouTube. See what's going on, see what we got kicking off here for us. Where's my content? View your channel. Live. Do a quick X check, make sure our thumbnail's up. Oh wait, I will check the YouTube. There we go. See what's going on, see what we got kicking off here for us. Awesome. Sweet, we're good. We're looking pretty good. I appreciate anybody who comes in and joins these streams, by the way. I just want to let you guys one more time, whether we have people talking and chatting or whether we don't, or however many viewers come after the fact. I really love getting this opportunity to share stuff I'm interested in out online, whether it's history, whether it's golf, whether it's news, whether it's information, whether it's supporting communities, or developing our own projects ourselves. This is just an incredible landscape to do it. I absolutely love it, and I really appreciate you for being here if you are. And I don't want to waste much more of your time. We got 1 minute left till we're going to start today's historical research quest stream, which I think has potential to be up there. I might preemptively put this in my top 3 just because I worked hard on getting a lot of images today. I did a little more prep than I'm used to hopefully make this better than it usually is, which I have no problem with how the past episodes have gone. Just always looking to elevate. And the last 2 streams were fantastic, though. I absolutely love the Jack the Ripper and the Zodiac streams. If people are specifically fans of these, like, these serial killer murder, like, absolutely just legendary stories that are engraved into history, like a burn mark in your skin, like, let me know, because I would absolutely love to keep going on that theme. But today, since the last 2 have been both about serial killers and just crazy people, I decided let's go back to a major historical event that truly takes us back to the beginning of time, what it feels like. So it is now 6:12 p.m. Let's get started, everybody. Thank you, anybody who's here in the chat. Say what's up. Don't say what's up. Listen along. Hang out. Let's have some fun. But let's get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome to tonight's special deep dive. We'll call it a deep dive. I always kick around these words. Deep dive episode of Historical Research Quest. That's the series name. I randomly thought of it at the beginning of this series, and it stuck. I love it. Historical Research Quest. It's historical. We do minimal research, but we more so read some research. We quest through the research. That's sort of my interpretation of the series name. So welcome back to tonight's Historical Research Quest stream. We are live just about every Wednesday, unless something crazy comes up, then we change it, either Tuesday, Thursday, if we know ahead of time. And we zero in on a historical event, figure, topic, era, anything. And we just quest through it together, and we have fun. We refresh the mind and make sure we know at least what's shared publicly about how the world was before us. So I'm really excited because tonight we're spending a full immersive length stream on one of the most dramatic and perfectly preserved moments in ancient history, the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD and the burial of the Roman city of Pompeii. This wasn't just a volcano exploding and destroying a town. It was a completely sudden and ultra-violent event that froze an entire living, breathing Roman community in time, giving us an unmatched window into daily life under the Roman Empire. It's something that the name, you would feel like an event of such size and impact, this, whether it's today or the given moment it was in, it would have a more descriptive name, like what's the word I'm looking for? What is the word I could just say, like, a more fitting name. Like when it says the eruption of Mount Vesuvius and the destruction of Pompeii, sure, there is some level of detail and emphasis there, but it really, it doesn't get the point across at how dramatic this event was, how sudden it was, and just how this single eruption absolutely destroyed an entire Roman community and froze their bodies in time and everything they had. It's one day to the next, gone. And it's pretty fascinating. We're going to go somewhat slow and detailed tonight. We're going to cover the historical context of the Roman world at that time, the geography and society of Pompeii itself, the long history of the volcano, and the warning signs that people completely overlooked. They missed. They missed like some clear signs that, not that this was going to happen, but that something was coming at the very least. We're also going to focus on the hour by hour eyewitness account from Pliny the Younger, the terrifying science of what actually happened during the eruption, the human tragedies that revealed the body casts, the incredible way the city was preserved, specific houses and artifacts that tell personal stories, the history of its rediscovery and excavation, and finally, the modern lessons and why this event still matters today, almost 2,000 years later. Crazy, right? Crazy. I've built in national, I like I guess that's right. I've built in some like natural pauses, obviously, when we're looking at the pictures. Hopefully, like if anybody has any questions, we can see more of what's going on during the images, so you can see them clearly as well. Feel free to type chats away with any questions or thoughts that you may have, and I'll expand more. I'll do more research right here live, utilizing tools at our hands, and then we'll lock in. But all I want to tell you is you should probably grab a drink, settle in. This is going to be a pretty fun little journey here. So let's start with what is the big picture. And I'm going to go ahead and move my camera just a little bit so we can get this picture here. Keep this in mind. This is the Bay of Naples over here to the left of Italy. Perfect. All right. So this is our first picture here. And what this picture shows is the Mount Vesuvius eruption like zone in 79. So it's the map showing Mount Vesuvius's eruption in 79 CE with cities destroyed and smoke plume. This map illustrates the Bay of Naples region in Italy, highlighting Mount Vesuvius and the surrounding towns like Pompeii, Herculaneum, Oplantis, and Stabiae, Stabiae, that were absolutely devastated by the eruption. The shadowed area that you see here in the image shows the extent of the ash and pyroclastic flows, giving a clear geographic sense on or of how the volcano's position affected these prosperous Roman settlements right at its base. So here you can see we have the location of Vesuvius, correct? Right near the coast. And then the first city, the closest city here is Herculaneum. Then we have Oplantis, Pompeii, Stabiae, and there's a number of other surrounding areas. Here in Nuceria Alfaterna, it's interesting because the shadowed region shows within. It shows that it's located within the shadows region, which is where the eruption just absolutely caked the landscape in terms of geographical location and just absolutely wiped out these cities. And it's a little interesting. Maybe we'll read a little bit or hear some on why Nuceria Alfaterna was not affected, or it was definitely affected. Everything around this region was affected, but why it's not in the shaded region, that's what I mean. So the smoke plume is the gray area. Oh, okay, so that makes sense. If we look at the key on the map, the this shaded dark region depicts the smoke plume, like from the actual eruption itself. And then all of these four cities here, Stabiae, Pompeii, Oplantis, and Herculaneum, these are, categorized in red because these show the actual destroyed cities. So anything remaining here in black, Neapolis, Misenum, Nuceria Alfaterna, those were not cities that were entirely destroyed. Oh, Sorrentum as well. But everything you see here in red, these were destroyed cities by the eruption and just mass destruction, okay? So to really understand why this disaster was so shocking, we have to step back into the Roman Empire of 79 AD. The empire was near like its absolute peak. Emperor Vespasian had died just a couple months earlier. So in the Roman Empire, the Roman Emperor Vespasian had died just a couple of months earlier. Remember, we're in 79 AD. And his son, Titus, was the new ruler. The Bay Area of Naples was the ultimate luxury destination. Absolutely, similar to today. Like you want to be on the bay, you want to be waterside. The more inland you are, the less beautiful and less great it is for life. Like this is where all the big money real estate is. There was beautiful coastline, mid-climate, fertile land, and close enough to Rome for the elite to have second homes. Like these guys were already popping out second cribs already back in the day. Senators, wealthy merchants, retired army officers, and successful freedmen all lived or vacationed here. The volcanic soil produced excellent wine and olives, and trade flowed through the ports. Life felt very stable and prosperous for those that were in this region at the time. But right in the middle of this paradise sat Mount Vesuvius, a sleeping giant that most people had no idea was dangerous. It's not like today where you're doing all the um it's not like today where you're doing all the little you're trying to figure out what every volcano is, how long is it going to be till this volcano explodes, like all this stuff is just under wrap, like, oh, big mountain over there, there's a big mountain over there. So yeah, Mount Vesuvius was just a sleeping giant in this area of like mass wealth, beauty, fertile land. The highest, the elitist of the biggest elites of them all were here. And this was just like paradise. This was paradise to the people from the Roman Empire at this time. And Mount Vesuvius just sat there like a sleeping giant. I brought up this second image here. I want to, maybe I'll need to move myself down here a little bit so we can see the names. Oh, we can go here. There we go. Awesome. So here we have another map of the Bay of Naples with Vesuvius and affected cities marked once again. So now we get a little more red action over here. But it's not the same key, so don't pay attention to that. Now it's just showing the red dots are the cities within like close proximity that got hit by smoke, or they're just labeled here. Like these cities all obviously felt some after effects of the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. So that's what we are looking at here. Now we have added Misenum, Neapolis, Herculaneum, Aplantis, Stabae, Sorrentum, Pompeii, Nuceria, and Salernum. And then, of course, we still have Mount Vesuvius right here with this shadow coming out. If you can see my cursor, you'll see this shadow. And I imagine this shows like the strength of the ash that spread this region. This overview map zooms in on the key locations showing Pompeii's position southeast of the volcano and how the eruption cloud spread across the area. It helps visualize why some towns were hit harder than others may have been, totally depending on wind and proximity. Pompeii itself was a town of roughly 10,000 to 12,000 residents. It had started as an Osco-Greek settlement, then Samnite, and then by 79 AD, it was thoroughly Roman. Like we said, this is where the Romans come to vacation, have second homes. The elites were over here. We talked about that a second ago. It had forums, temples, baths, an amphitheater that could hold 20,000 people, markets, workshops, and luxurious villas. Many houses had private water supplies, beautiful gardens, and wall paintings. There were rich and poor living side by side, like slaves, freedmen who had made fortunes, shopkeepers, farmers, and visiting elites. It was vibrant and a totally multicultural trading town. So that's when it comes to Pompeii. So Pompeii, as you can see, is directly like southeast of Vesuvius. So Aplantis and Pompeii over here got cooked hard, but because of wind direction, Pompeii, as you can see, got the thickest of it. Like the thickest of the shits were coming to Pompeii over here, because from Vesuvius, the winds were bringing the ash down south, kind of southeast towards Pompeii, as you can see by just how filled in and dark this region is, representing the ash. There we go. Now we'll take a look. I have a 3D reconstruction here for you guys so we can get a little better image. So, like I said, the elites from the Roman Empire obviously love to go to Pompeii and these coastline or Bay Area regions. But it wasn't exclusive to them. This was a genuine city landscape where people lived, 10 to 12,000 people. It was a diverse region, like an economically diverse region, of course, because there were poor, there were rich, there were laborers, farmers, everyone was there. Not everyone, but from all social groups and classes, people resided here in Pompeii. It was a big deal, and it was a legitimate city. Like, don't think about this like some hut in the middle of the desert or something like that. As you can see, based off this basic 3D reconstruction, Pompeii was a legitimate, fully operating city right on the coast here. And they had their whole world planned out, built up from the ground up. Each home, it says, almost had their own water supply. It's a incredibly remarkable feat to get this all built up and done, especially back 2,000 years ago. Like, wow, it's just Just wild to think about that. And here you get a little 3D reconstruction of Pompeii before the eruption. So this is just an absolutely stunning 3D model, which shows what the bustling city of Pompeii looked like just before the disaster struck, which was the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. A thriving port town with dense red roof buildings, an amphitheater, forum, and streets full of life, nestled near the sea with Vesuvius looming in the background. It portrays an absolutely vibrant urban center at its peak. Like this reminds me of modern day city centers, neighborhoods, potentially some suburbs. Like this kind of looks like where I grew up. Over here to the right, you have like my community soccer field over here, which is obviously the Coliseum. You have like what a high school would have been, I guess. Throughout, obviously, you have the close to the school suburbs. Well, it's all one big suburb. The homes all throughout here. Over to the left, this is like the little community shopping center. Here we have the football field. Like it's starkly similar to what we have today, and it's pretty awesome to see just how incredibly constructed and professional, organized, and divided this area was from everywhere else. Like, look at this. Look at the border wall around the outside here. Like, this is a real city. I just want us to think about that. Like, think about us living here today in this city, you and I, in whatever city you reside in, whether it's America, whether it's in Europe, all over the globe in 2026. There are so many similarities to the city of Pompeii back in the day. It's where we all come from. Like this, you don't see this too often. Obviously, the fact that it's a 3D reconstruction totally like blows my mind as well, because if you see photographs, then you can see the nuances and the little details of how different it really was and where the issues are. But from an aerial 3D reconstruction, tell me this does not look exactly like where you grew up, or where you know someone who grew up, or somewhere you've been in the modern age. It's pretty impressive, and just an amazing sight to see. And I'm gonna bring you guys even more, because that's not the only little 3D image that we're gonna be taking a look at. So here you are. Here's the next one. This is a detailed 3D animated reconstruction view of Pompeii streets and buildings. So now we get a closer look into like what actually fills the gaps, or what's actually between the homes, between the buildings, between the red roofs, between the amphitheater. You get a little bit of a look at the coastline here. You can see how it lined that region. And what you don't see what life looked like, but you can see how professional life seemed, and how modern life seemed, and how advanced for their time this region was. Like the Romans knew how to build beauty. Like beauty was built. Like look at this. Look at this. It's just such a great sight to see. Let me know in the chat if you guys have any questions about this, if you want me to look up anything specific, or if we should just move on. But it's a beautiful city center. People were roaming through here every day. It all looks just so organized and well done. It makes it semi impossible to believe that this was 2,000 years ago. It really does. Here we see a closer aerial perspective of the city's layout, with temples, houses, and public spaces brought to life. This portrayal captures the organized Roman engineering and daily hustle that was about to be interrupted forever. The volcano had been quiet for hundreds of years, possibly 700 or more years. So now we're talking about Vesuvius, obviously. So for 700 or more years, the volcano had been completely quiet. So it was brewing for a push. Locals simply called it the mountain. So think about this. Back in 79 AD, the locals in Pompeii would look at Mount Vesuvius over to their left and the coastline to their right. They say, oh, that's where we go swimming. And then Mount Vesuvius is where we go hiking, because that's just a mountain. They don't even know. They might not even know it's a volcano. It has been dormant for over 700 years. Nothing has happened there. So what are they going to expect? Especially back then, no research, no information. Like it's just what you and the boys see out in the wild, and what 2 + 2 you put together. Whether that equals 5 or 4, who knows? But you're going to go with your gut. But there were absolutely warnings that something was coming. In 62 AD, a massive earthquake devastated the region. Many buildings in Pompeii were still being repaired 17 years later. There were smaller tremors in the days before the eruption. Springs dried up, wells behaved strangely, animals acted restless. Yet, in a world without scientific understanding of volcanoes, most people just repaired their walls and went on with daily life. They had absolutely no concept of what was coming, which we now know was the short later eruption of Mount Vesuvius. I will have to move myself out of the way here. Yes, so here we have a statue or depiction of Pliny the Younger. So this classical statue portrays Pliny the Younger, the Roman writer and administrator who provided the most detailed surviving account of the eruption from across the bay in Misenum. He describes the events in letters to the historian Tacitus, giving us a vivid hour-by-hour perspective. So this man right here, Pliny the Younger, is who is responsible for the longest, the most detailed, and professional hour-by-hour perspective of the eruption of Mount Vesuvius from across the bay. He had a front row view, and he wrote it all down. Like, imagine seeing that shit happening straight across 2,000 years ago across the bay. You see this volcano erupting, destroying cities. It looks like your whole world is ending. The sky is turning black. And your first thought is, let me write this shit down. Not, let me run and save. Like, where are you going to run, to be honest? Maybe that's why he came to that decision. But yeah, let's move on. Here we go. We'll take another look at this. Myself over here. This is a more close-up portrait style view of Pliny the Younger statue. Focusing on his features and scholarly pose, this image portrays him as the educated elite observer whose writings preserve the memory of the catastrophe for history. Our best source is Pliny the Younger. He was only 17 or 18 years old, staying at Misenum with his mother and his famous uncle, Pliny the Elder. So he was Pliny the Young, Pliny the Younger, and then his uncle was Pliny the Elder. Pliny the Elder commanded the Roman fleet there. Years later, Pliny wrote 2 letters to the historian Tacitus describing exactly what he saw. Let's walk through his account in detail because it's the closest thing we have to a live report of the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. So on the afternoon of August 24th, or possibly late October, according to some new evidence from fruit and wine remains, Pliny noticed a bizarre cloud rising from the direction of Vesuvius. He said it looked like an umbrella pine tree, a tall, straight trunk with a spreading canopy on top. This was the start of a massive Plinian eruption column shooting tens of thousands of feet into the sky. His uncle immediately prepared ships to sail across and help. Pliny the Elder was both a scientist and a commander. He wanted to investigate and rescue. Meanwhile, the young Pliny, Pliny the Younger, who we're getting the report from, stayed behind to continue his studies, showing remarkable calm. Let me see how I can get this best. I'll put myself up here for a second. No, I won't. That's a lie. Yeah, I'll go here. So here, this is the dramatical historical painting of the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. This 19th century painting by Pierre Jacques Vollard, or similar dramatic style, shows the volcano exploding with fire and smoke at night. People fleeing in panic along the coast with boats in the bay. It portrays the terror and scale of the event as imagined by later artists, capturing the fiery plumes and human desperation. You could imagine. They've never seen anything like this before. Mount Vesuvius starts erupting. Absolute hell breaks through and people are just running for their lives. But even they probably know, like, there is no running from this. Instead of thinking this will pass by and they'll all be okay, when you don't have all these scientific studies, answers, and explanations, immediately where my head is going is, oh, the world's ending. We're all dead no matter where we go, what we do. Right? Like, that's a logical thing to say, right? Like, that's exactly what I would think. At least I believe so. I believe that's where my head would launch. Oops. By late afternoon, ash and lightweight pumice began falling on Pompeii. Oh, wait, no. By late afternoon on the day that it erupted, ash and lightweight pumice began falling on Pompeii. At first, it was almost kind of playful, like a dark snow. People went outside, collected the stones, even laughed a little bit. But the fall intensified quite rapidly. Pumice piled up ankle deep, then knee deep. Roofs started collapsing under the weight. People tied pillows or cushions to their heads for protection. Families gathered belongings. Some tried to flee by cart or on foot toward the coast or inland. Others barricaded themselves inside houses, hoping the nightmare would end. The sky turned black. Torches were needed. Even in the daytime, torches were needed. It was so dark. The clouds of ash from the eruption of Mount Vesuvius covered Pompeii so bad that even during the day, you needed to use torches in order to see where you were going. Crazy. Earthquakes continued to shake the ground, and the sea level fluctuated wildly. Pliny the Elder reached, who is Pliny the Younger's uncle, Pliny the Elder reached the area near Stabiae, but strong winds and rough seas prevented escape. He stayed calm, bathed, dined, slept a little, and kept encouraging everyone he was with on the rescue mission. By early morning on the 25th, the situation became apocalyptic. Several enormous pyroclastic surges roared down the mountain, superheated clouds of gas, ash, and rock moving faster than 100 miles per hour with temperatures of 300 to 500 degrees Celsius. These surges killed almost instantly through the heat shock and suffocation. The final surges reached Pompeii around 7 to 8 a.m. Those still alive inside the buildings died where they sheltered. Their bodies were buried quickly in ash, creating perfect molds, which we'll take a look at right now. So those ash covered molds, like this is what that looked like. This is what that looked like. Yeah, not great, not hot. Well, hot literally, not figuratively. These are plaster casts of Pompeii victims' bodies just sitting there lying in the ash. These famous plaster casts show the hollow spaces left by decomposed bodies filled with plaster by archaeologists. They portray people in their final moments, curled up, shielding faces, a mother and a child, frozen expressions of agony from the pyroclastic surge that came following the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. This is how people died. They 1 second to the next, they lie there and they die and they're covered. Absurd. Here is a group of plaster casts of victims in Pompeii setting with red walls. So this display of multiple casts, including adults and children in contorted positions, portrays the tragic family groups and individuals who perished together while seeking shelter, highlighting the suddenness and indiscriminateness of the disaster, which was the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. Here now we have a single plaster cast of a child victim in Pompeii. So this poignant cast of a young victim lying on their back portrays the absolute innocence lost that day. You know, one of the many children caught in the eruption, emphasizing the human scale of the tragedy beyond just statistics. It's not 100 adults died. You know, it's not like that. It's not 100 people died. Newborns, children, completely indiscriminatory attacks by this natural disaster just wiped through the city of Pompeii and absolutely crucified the population there. And this is how it left them. That is devastating. Roughly 1,100 to 2,000 bodies have been found in Pompeii so far, but many more probably died while fleeing and were never recovered. Herculaneum suffered even more intense heat and deeper burial. The preservation is what makes this site legendary. So Herculaneum, it's what makes Pompeii so incredible is how preserved that entire city is to this day. Herculaneum, multiple cities got the heat, the garbage, and the full-blown destruction, but the preservation lacked there, leading us to regularly come back to Pompeii rather than the other major cities around. The combination of wet ash, pumice, and rapid burial created an airtight environment. Organic materials like wood beams, food, cloth, even some paint colors survived in ways that almost nothing else from the ancient world has. When excavation began seriously in the mid-1700s, workers found loaves of bread still in ovens, eggs, fish, fruit, furniture in place, and graffiti freshly painted on the walls. So the ash covered the city of Pompeii from the eruption of Mount Vesuvius so fast that it created an airtight environment that was able to allow these natural elements and pieces from the city to just survive for thousands of years beyond their extinction. There's that one saying where it's like something outlived the man, or the idea outlived the man, something like that. The event outlived the man. That's for sure one, something like that. But that's what happened here is a living. There's a real. This isn't written in a book. This is real life. Like it's in front of you. Things like bread still in ovens. Like imagine that. Here we have a colorful Roman fresco wall painting from a Pompeii house. And this detailed fresco depicts figures in classical dress, possibly a mythological or daily scene with vibrant reds and architectural borders. It portrays the sophisticated artistic taste and interior decoration of wealthy Pompeii homes, showing how Romans lived surrounded by beauty and stories. Like, this is what the Romans appreciated back when they were living over in Pompeii before the eruption of Mount Vesuvius, 79 AD. Like, this gives you an insight into what the taste of the Romans were back then. Like, these were elegant, luxurious individuals who loved and appreciated beauty, whether it was through um you know what's the word, guys? I'm blanking on words today. What am I doing? It's sorry. Oh, whether it's architectural beauty, fashion beauty, like in every element of life, it appears like these Romans were just class figures. Here we'll move on to another one here. Here we have another fresco fragment showing figures and a dog-like animal. So this painting portrays characters from mythology or daily life with lively colors and expressions, illustrating the narrative art that adorned walls and reflected cultural values. So this is really just depicting the narrative art that adorned walls and reflected cultural values. Like, it's people coming together. We can clearly tell that pets were a thing. Like, they had pets, communication throughout the community. You can see the clothes they're wearing, the vibrant colors. There is just another element of luxury and class and comfort within this society at the time. Here we have a wide view of a preserved Pompeii room with extensive wall frescoes. So this interior shows multiple mythological and figurative scenes on red backgrounds with decorative borders. It portrays the immersive artistic environment of Roman villas where art educated, entertained, and displayed status. So just like we saw earlier in this picture here, they really like the red walls. They liked showing the people like common things they did. I bet we have someone's kind of like reading here. Like, it just shows their day-to-day life. It's depicted on the walls. Not only ingrained in the walls and ingrained in history, but it's ingrained in their reality. It's what they're looking at. This is how they showcase their class and wealth, and this is how they educate. It's through pictures and paintings, I mean. um because they are directly referenceable. And look at this. This fresco still stands today. Or like, not stands today, but it's uh hold on. It's still preserved. That's what I'm looking for. Think about daily frozen life here. Like, bakeries had 81 loaves ready for sale. One house had a meal set out. Graffiti covered walls, election slogans, love messages like Marcus loves Spendusa, jokes, insults, even crude drawings in the Lupinar brothel showing positions offered. The Stabian baths had changing rooms, hot rooms, cold plunges. The amphitheater hosted gladiator games. A riot in 59 AD between Pompeii and Nuceria. Fans led to a 10-year ban. Temples to Roman gods stood next to one another. to one for the Egyptian goddess Isis, showing religious mixing. The Villa of the Mysteries had 30-meter long fresco, probably showing initiation into Dionysian mystery cult. Houses range from tiny shops to grand villas with atriums, peristyle gardens, and even fountains. This was a fully functioning, legitimate society. Just please remember that. This is a collection of ancient artifacts and amulets from Pompeii. So this is an array of jewelry, phallic charms, figurines, glass, and metal objects portrays the personal items people wore or used for protection, trade, and daily rituals, revealing beliefs in superstition, fashion, and craftsmanship in Roman society back in Pompeii before the Mount Vesuvius eruption. Here we have a plaster cast of a dog from Pompeii, possibly chained up. It's possibly. This cast of a dog in a twisted position portrays a loyal pet that perished at its post, one of the most moving non-human victims, symbolizing how the eruption affected all live beings in the city, beyond just humans. So when early excavations under Charles of Bourbon in the 1740s were basically treasure hunts for royal collections. Giuseppe Fiorelli in the 1860s brought a scientific order, created the plastic casting method still used today, and divided the city into regions and blocks. Modern archaeology uses non-invasive tech, drones, GPR, 3D scanning, and CT scans on casts that reveals people's ages, diets, diseases, and even their last meals. Only about 2/3 of Pompeii is uncovered right now, so the rest is deliberately preserved for future methods. Recent finds include a perfectly preserved horse, slave quarters with wooden bed and chest, and a sorceress house with magical objects. So, what's fascinating here is they're actually leaving a region of Pompeii completely untouched for when better tech and better advancements come to less invasively and more with long-term preservation in mind, be able to go in and find out what's underneath the ash. Oh, this is the Call of Duty map. Hold on, this is the Call of Duty map right here. Don't they do they have a Call of Duty map named Pompeii? Wait, I think they do. Is Pompeii a map in BO2? Buried. Yes, yes. So on a conceptual level, the map buried from Black Ops 2 is actually basically Pompeii. Like take a look at it. It looks when you load into the map on Black Ops 2, I remember this like it was yesterday. This was the loading screen for buried. But right here, what you're actually looking at is a modern photo of Pompeii ruins with Vesuvius in the background here. So here we can see Mount Vesuvius and how that eruption brought this smoke straight south and just destroyed the city of Pompeii. So that's an interesting little fact for you. If you never knew where buried came from, on a conceptual level, it's basically Pompeii. This wide shot of excavated stone walls, streets, and scaffolding shows ongoing work with the volcano still visible today. It portrays how the ruins stand as a living archaeological site, a testament to both destruction and preservation. Here we go. We'll take a little better look at that. Archaeologists working at Pompeii excavation site. So this map captures a worker with tools amid the ruins and fresco fragment, portraying the careful ongoing process of uncovering history layer by layer under the shadow of Vesuvius. Here we have an interior of a Pompeii house ruin with preserved walls and openings. This room view shows brickwork, doorways, and faded paintings, portraying the intimate domestic spaces where families lived, worked, and ultimately met their end here in Pompeii. The eruption gave us the term Plinian. for this type of explosive column eruption. Vesuvius is still very much alive. Over 3 million people live in the red zone today with detailed evacuation plans. So if Mount Vesuvius was to come back, alive, over 3 million people are living in Pompeii. Oh, I mean Vesuvius. They're living in Vesuvius, with over 3 million people living there in the red zone, and they have detailed evacuation plans if something comes up. The story has inspired novels like The Last Days of Pompeii, paintings, films, and even video games. Like I said, Black Ops 2 map. It reminds us how quickly prosperity can end, how powerful nature is, and how archaeology can resurrect the past. We've uncovered everything from peaceful daily Roman life to sudden death to scientific treasure. What would you have done if you lived there? Would you flee? Let's restart there. If you lived in Pompeii, or let's just call it generally Vesuvius, when Mount Vesuvius erupted in 79 AD, what would you have done if you lived there? Would you flee immediately or shelter? Which artifacts fascinate you the most? I would love to hear your thoughts. Drop them in the live chat right now. Drop them in the comments. Drop them on a clip if you're seeing it on a clip. But if Mount Vesuvius erupted and you were alive there to see it in Pompeii, what would have your knee jerk reaction been? What would you have done in that moment? Because I can tell you right now what I would have done. I would have looked up. I'm thinking I'm living in 79 AD, dog. We haven't seen shit. We don't even have real scientists. We don't have real doctor. We don't have anything. I look up and I see the sky turning black like this. I put my head back down and I just go, damn, I'm cooked. We're going home. We're dead. That's it. Um, but that's really it. If you enjoyed it, like and subscribe, like and follow, and I'll see you next time. But that's what we have here. That was today's historical research quest stream. I'm a little unfortunate that we um didn't get any of you here in chat today. I would have loved to expand on this a little more, but I kind of just flew through it. We went through all the details. Yeah, so we went through all the details. I would love to know if anybody learned anything from this stream, if it was interesting at all to anybody, if it was fun for anybody. Let me know. Yeah. Oh, wait, but you guys know what we do now. Our stream just crashed again. Waiting for the other man. We are back alive. We are back live. We're back live. Wow, would you look at that? Our stream crashed at the beginning and the end. Let me close a bunch of these. Oh, do, 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 do. All right, we're still here. We didn't lose the stream. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. Our stream literally crashed at the beginning and at the end. But luckily, I'm pretty well versed at bringing the streams back now. Let's see if we can make it. If we can help anybody. Sorry, I'm so tired. I still got to go to the gym after this. Oh yeah, let's talk a little bit of the project. So that's it. We're gonna wrap up the history stream there. So that was the eruption of Mount Vesuvius and the absolute destruction of Pompeii by the after effects of that eruption. I hope you enjoyed it. Come join us next time. It was a great time. But now I want to tell you guys a little bit about something I have coming up. So I'm working on a big series of streams right now throughout the month of June. On July 4th, we'll be launching our new project. It's called the USA 250 Digital Impact Network. And it really focuses on pumping life, energy, resources, and community commitment throughout communities and individuals in general. So you'll hear more about that. But this first stream, I will be hosting a stream that is based around the topic of philanthropy generally. I specifically want to dive into issues, like key issues within the model of philanthropy as it lives today. So I am actively looking for experts, knowledgeable individuals, or anybody who has any experience with philanthropy in general, whether it's corporate philanthropy, individual personal philanthropy. If you donate $100 to some organization every year, I would love to talk to anybody that is involved in the world of charitable giving on any end, on any side of it, because you would be very helpful in my live stream. I'd love to shout you out, bring your community, and honestly, just sit with me for a little bit and chat. I want multiple people. So if you have anybody in mind, or if you yourself are interested, please reach out to me via DM on either X, Instagram, Facebook, anywhere at NetAccess Group on all socials. Um, I would love to talk to you so I can get ready for that stream. Now, the second stream that we're going to be doing is going to focus around how far the $60,000 went. So if anybody remembers, a couple months back, we did huge partnerships with two projects called Patriot and War, and they tasked me with giving away $60,000 live on stream to veterans in the veteran community, whether it's um, active duty military, um, disabled veterans, veterans. We just just spreading positivity, spreading resources, and spreading joy. And I want to have a lot of those awesome individuals on my stream on the second stream in June, to just talk about their experience and how awesome that was for not only them but me as well, and what we should do on how we can continue pushing that positivity forward into other communities, because that is a big focus point of our project coming out on July 4th. So that'll be a great little introductory element, to set the stage for what we're building and create the vibe that I want to be built around these streams. So once again, those two things, if you are interested and you are involved in charitable giving, no matter how big or how small, I would like to talk to you. I would like to get information and your opinion on the system as it exists today, on the processes and the hoops you have to jump through in order to be a charitable giver or philanthropist in the modern age, and then discuss potentially with you afterwards on how we could rehabilitate the space a little bit, modernize it, and make it so that people actually get what they deserve. Because we know there is a lot of corruption, stealing, and outside interference in the world of charitable giving and philanthropy in general. So I would love to speak with you on that. I will be doing my fair share of work on trying to reach out to industry professionals and people that I think would be a good fit for the stream. But I would really, really rather have people reach out to me, because then I know that it's someone who wants to have the conversation and is interested in the topic, not someone who just wants to talk because I asked them. So that would go a long way. If you could please tap in and get in touch with me there, I would absolutely love it. And yeah, we could have a great time. Those streams are starting in June. It is currently May 20th. So we have about, let me see when the first stream is going to be. The first stream is going to be June 2nd. So we have like 13 days, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 days until the first stream. Plans are underway. I am locking in. And I would love to get you involved however I can. But that's it on that message as well today. One more time, I had a lot of fun on today's historical research quest stream. The eruption of Mount Vesuvius and the destruction of Pompeii is a fascinating story that lives very strongly today. They are still excavating the site. They still have unsearched areas. There's so much more to come from this story, and a lot of lessons to learn as well. Both on what to do different and maybe what to do the same as the Romans did and the people of Pompeii did in general back in their time, because if you ask me, their lives looked pretty freaking sweet. So that's that. Thanks you all so much for watching. We are about to run a little raid. Little raid. Sweet. All right. So here we go. We're gonna go Hellcat Maverick today. Bye, guys.